Hi, welcome to my channel. I hope you're fine. Today's video is about the haunted and creepiest places of the world. Let's straight dig into the video. Chuck Lagoon, Micronesia comes on the number 10 spot. Micronesia's Chuck Lagoon, formerly Truk Lagoon, served as a fortified base for the Japanese Navy during World War II, and it was attacked by American forces during a 3-day airstrike in 1944. Dozens of warships, planes, tanks, and railroad cars sank to the bottom of the lagoon, where they remain today in what is known as the Ghost Fleet of Truk Lagoon. The ship graveyard is immensely popular with scuba divers, with POTY dubbing it one of the best wreck diving destinations on the planet. Underwater explorers can swim up close to the wartime vessels, which are littered with weapons, gas masks, and, according to some superstitious divers, a few waterlogged ghosts. The place on number 9 spot is Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia. The castle-like Eastern State Penitentiary took solitary confinement to new levels when it was built in 1829. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding in 1913, although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe. Chaining an inmate's tongue to his wrists is one example, before it closed for good in 1970. The site now welcomes thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and Halloween celebrations. Reported paranormal happenings have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, and pacing footsteps. The Forbidden City, Beijing, China is on the number 8 spot. No trip to Beijing is complete without a visit to the Forbidden City, China's former imperial palace that now serves as a museum. But you might not know that the popular tourist destination has quite the reputation among supernatural enthusiasts. During its 600-year tenure as a palace, the complex had its fair share of murders, whether from jealous concubines poisoning one another or executions performed at the emperor's behest. Needless to say, there have been many reports of strange phenomena since the palace opened to the public in the 1940s. The most common story involves a woman dressed in white, as most good ghost stories do, strolling around the grounds and sobbing. Château de Brissac, France occupies number 7 spot. One of the tallest castles in all of France, the 7-story Château de Brissac is perhaps best known as the home of the Green Lady, aka the Ghost of Charlotte of France. The château's website tells the legend of Charlotte, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII, who was murdered by her husband after he discovered her having an affair. Named for the color of her dress when she was killed, the Green Lady can be found roaming the chapel's tower room and moaning in the early hours of morning. The number 6 spot is occupied by Whaley House in San Diego. Thomas Whaley built this family estate in 1857, on the former site of San Diego's first public gallows. Shortly after he moved in, he reported hearing the heavy footsteps of Yankee Jim Robinson, a drifter and thief who was hanged on the site 4 years before the house was built. Whaley's family history ended up being filled with tragic deaths and suicides, many of which occurred inside the home itself. According to the Whaley House Museum, some of the family members still haunt the landmark, running up the stairs and turning lights on and off. The place which is on 5 spot is Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel in Canada. Built in 1888 to encourage tourism and sell train tickets, this chateau-style hotel sits pretty by the Rocky Mountains in Canada's Banff National Park. But it gets a tad more gothic once you get inside, and we aren't talking about the architecture. The Calgary Herald has reported several resident ghosts, including a bride who supposedly fell down the stone staircase during her wedding. But there's a less tragic spirit, too, Sam the bellman, who worked at the hotel until 1975 and claimed he'd come back to haunt the joint. His spirit supposedly pulls shifts to help people with their bags before disappearing. Borgvattnet Haunted Vicarage in Sweden comes on number 4 spot. Originally built in 1876, weird happenings have been noted in this parsonage since the 1960s. The gray wooden structure now serves as a bed and breakfast in a rural area in northern Sweden with snowmobiling, fishing, and not a lot else. Guests at Borgvattnet have claimed to hear footsteps, music, and the sound of 3 crying ladies coming from the inn, and the proprietors will reward you with a certificate that says you stayed through the night. Burgeltz in Germany is on number 3 spot. Burgeltz dates back to 1157, so you better believe the list of myths surrounding the castle is quite long. The most compelling tale is that of a young countess named Agnes, who was betrothed to a fellow noble but called off the engagement after she met him. According to legend, he sucked. The scorned nobleman laid siege to the castle and Agnes perished after taking up arms to defend her castle. Her mournful spirit can still be sensed today, most strongly in her former bedroom with her pierced armor and battle axe on display. The St. Augustine Lighthouse, in Florida comes on number 2 spot. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is visited by more than 216,000 people annually, but it's just as well known for its otherworldly guests. Several tragic events that occurred at the now historic site have contributed to the alleged paranormal activity. The ghost of a lighthouse keeper who fell to his death while painting the tower has been spotted watching over the grounds. And ever since the horrific death of 3 young girls, who drowned when the cart they were playing in broke and fell into the ocean, visitors have claimed to hear the sounds of children playing in and around the lighthouse. The most scariest place is Isla de las Muñecas in Mexico. Despite its status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its well-preserved examples of Aztec life, the neighborhood of Xochimilco has reached a certain amount of internet fame for its island of the dolls. Hidden among the region's many canals, the site is famous for the hundreds of dolls, and doll parts, hanging from trees and scattered among the grass. While it might look more like a horror movie set, the Chinampa, akin to an artificial island, used to be the residence of a now-deceased man named Julian Santa Barrera. After finding a dead girl's body in a nearby canal, Barrera collected and displayed the toys in the hopes of warding off evil spirits. Daring souls can hire their own boat and view the island safely from the water. This is all from it. I hope that you liked this video. If it is so, like, share and comment on video. If you are new to this, then please to forget to subscribe. Goodbye.